That was Roxy. And I'm Samar. Hello, I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be an update for my Pan Those palettes. And this is, I'll leave the playlist linked in the description box because I honestly can't really think right now. I just sat down to film this. But if you want to see the introduction, I've been doing this project. This is my second year doing this similar type of project where I'm panning a face palette and multiple palettes. So yeah, if you want to hear more about how and why I'm doing this project, you can watch the introduction for this year or the previous year. Or if you just want to catch up, you can watch those videos, but I'm just going to get into the update because as soon as I started filming, Roxy wanted to start eating. So sorry if you can hear her eating her little kibble. I will start with the face palette this time, and I'm not gonna get your hopes up. I don't have any pans, but I actually think I have some pretty decent progress, at least relatively. This is what it's looking like right now. I mean, don't pay attention to that. That's an eyeshadow from a different project. But this is what it's looking like, and I don't know if you can, well, I do have that little pan. That's not actual pan. I think when I repressed this, there was like an air bubble because all of a sudden I just had pan one day, but it's like deep in there. That's just like a little crevice. It's not like I didn't wear the product down all the way to the pan. That's an air bubble. But I mean, I guess I have pan, so whatever. But other than that, I do have a really good dip in this bronzer because ever since I finished my Fenty contour stick, well, it was more like a contour bronzer. I was using it for everything. I've been exclusively using my bronzer and contour shades from the face palette. So I've gotten a lot of use on this. I do use a lighter hand with my contour than my bronzer, so this is moving very slowly. It almost looks unused. But the bronzer, I don't know if you can see, you probably cannot, because I just have my phone's camera. It's not like a professional camera, but I do actually have a pretty good dip, and it's like half of the pan basically, because I use a brush like this, like a slanted, like kind of tapered, I don't know what you call this, but basically this is the type of brush that I always use for my contour and bronzer, and I always like stick it right here because that's where the dip is. But it's a really good dip. I have been getting use on all three of my blushes. I would say I've probably used these two more often, but I have even, sorry if you can see that dust, I have even used this one, which is the one that I use when I'm wearing like a warmer tone look, but I want a powder blush. I'm wearing this blush today, which is more of like a pinky mauvey, like bolder blush. I wouldn't say I'm close to pan, but I feel like every time I use this blush, I can see like more of the like brighter pink wearing away, and the bright pink was kind of like what I call an overspray, because when I every time I've ever like repressed this blush, a lot of the pink pigment just comes leaching out when I add the alcohol, so it always settles on the top, and usually the top is like a super bright pink, and then the rest of it is more of this like almost powdery blush type of pink that's in the middle. So every time I use it, I can see more of that color, so it's just very exciting, and I'm really enjoying using this face palette, but still no pan. I've used the highlight a few times, but not enough to really see any progress. Moving on to my eyeshadow palettes, the first one I'll talk about is the least exciting one, which is my Pat McGrath Eye Ecstasy Sublime eyeshadow palette. I didn't use this even once this past month. I did swatch it a few times, which might be why, like, if you notice there's a really good dip on the shade. This one is also like the creamiest out of all the eyeshadows in this palette, so it's gonna show progress the fastest. But I did not use this on my eyes at all. However, it did come in really handy because this past month in May, you'll see this in my like makeup like no buy recap video, but I did go on a bit of a shopping spree in May. I shouldn't have, but I was debating on like a specific Danessa Myricks like dual, and you know those like dual ended eyeshadow sticks that she came out with? There was one that I was really debating on getting because I thought it was really pretty, but I thought maybe I could dupe both of the ends with like, not those two, these two shades in the palette. Sorry if you can hear my cats. I don't know what she's doing, but it's definitely Roxy. And they weren't exact dupes, but I felt like they were very, very similar vibes where I just decided not to buy it. So that's a good thing that I didn't get it. Okay, I found her. She's under my bed and playing with like a piece of plastic. I don't know. But yeah, that's why I was swatching these, and I have like a really good dip on this now. So I did use it, just not as eyeshadow on my eyes. Then I'll talk about the one that I'm wearing today, which is my Norvina from ABH. I did not hit any more pans, which I feel like I really jinxed myself last time because I was like, oh yeah, it seems like every update I have a new pan to show you. And then literally as I was saying it, I was like, oh, I probably just jinxed myself just now, and I did. Yeah, I don't have any new pans in any of my palettes this month. However, I finally did repress and like add more powder to this Celestial shade, or what's in the place of Celestial, which is literally just like a loose powder that I pressed in here because I was really running out of it last update. I don't have too much progress on it today. In fact, this is the first time I'm wearing it today because I'm panning my desk is so messy. I almost dropped it. My Gemini palette and my Henry VIII project on my Instagram, and I'm just using the lid setting shade in this one every time I need one, except for today because I know I was filming this, so I wanted to use it. But yeah, I haven't really gotten any use on that since repressing it. But the other shades that I'm wearing on my eyes are Volatile, and then I put Wild Child on top of it. I really wanted to do that look because I think it was in April I used my Fairy Tale Forest palette for, I think, my palette throwback series, and I did this really, really pretty look with the gray and like the pink topper shade, and it was very reminiscent of the two shades in this palette, and I was like, I feel like I really could dupe that look with my Norvina palette, but I hadn't done it. And in fact, I think this is like one of the first times I picked up this palette at all since last update. So yeah, I just really wanted to do that look, and then it gave me an opportunity to wear this lipstick that I'm panning in my The Office Project pan, also on my Instagram. But I have gotten like almost no use on this lipstick at all, but it goes perfectly with this shade Volatile. Like, I know it doesn't look like it, but I swear they're like the exact same color. Anyway, I'm going on tangents. Finally, I'm wearing the shade Dreamer on my inner corner, which I feel like doesn't really go with it too much because I feel like it's slightly warm toned and the rest of the look is very cool toned. But yeah, that's the look that I did with this palette. I also used the shade Eccentric a few times to pair with the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 5 palette. Oh, and then I used Passion a few times as well. Both of these I was like pairing with that Danessa Myricks Volume 5 palette that was in my Old New Gifted Blue. So no pans, but I do feel like I do have a really good dip on the shade Volatile. And also I know that Dreamer is very thin in this pan because I've repressed it like 3 times now. And Dazzling and Summer also have really good dips. Then finally I have my e.l.f. Rose Gold Nude palette, and for a while I wasn't using this because the shade, or no, I was using this shade specifically as like a one and done, but that was not very often because usually I'm trying to use as many eyeshadows as possible. So otherwise this palette was not getting very much use because I was like, well, I already hit pan in this shade a few months ago with that Danessa Myricks palette that was in my Old New Gifted Blue. There were a lot of like purple, blue, pink looks that I wanted to do that would go really well with this shade, which is why, if you can tell, the pan has expanded quite a bit since when I initially hit pan on it because I was using this as my go-to matte. However, I think I'm gonna have to stop using that one because I've now gotten enough of a tan where this barely shows up on me at all. So I'm gonna probably have to find a different purple matte to use in my collection. But I'm really glad that I got more use on it before I got too much of a tan. And then I was also using this deep purple, and I don't know if you can really see the dip in there. Yeah, you can't because it's like literally in the center of the pan. So, I mean, even on the sides, the pan still looks full. But I do have a pretty good dip in that shade, and I feel like at least by the end of the year, I definitely can hit pan on that shade. And then also this one that I'm using as a one and done. I do want to start getting more use on this shade because I remember, I think last year, no, in 2024, because I think it was 2024 that I was panning my, whichever year I was panning my Sigma Ambiance. I remember pairing this with just like a mid-tone brown, and it was just a really easy like go-to neutral look, and I remember really liking that look. So I'll probably start doing that again with this shade just so I can get more use on this palette, because I feel like now that I'm getting into like the warmer months, I'm not using like a very cool tone. I mean, it looks like I'm lying today because I'm wearing the coolest tone makeup ever, but I feel like I'm wearing a lot less cool tone makeup than I was even just a few months ago. So that is all for this update. I'm really going to try to push myself to actually have a pan in at least one shade next month because I have a long way to go. My bet would be that it would be again in the Norvina palette because I feel like I have like really good dips on these three, Summer, Dazzling, and Volatile. I have pretty good dips on those, and then also, like I said, Dreamer is very thin, so there are 4 shades that I could potentially hit pan in. But I'm really loving the look that I got from this palette today, and like the even with the lip and everything. So I'm definitely not wearing like the right tones for it. I'm wearing some like olive green workout pants because I went to physical therapy today, so very casual today. But I will just see you in my next video, and until then, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, even though my uploading has not been very good lately. I appreciate everyone who watches and interacts with my videos. So I need a drink of water, my mouth is very dry. I'll just see you in my next one, and until then, I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.